everyone, and welcome back to the Slow English channel, where we speak English slowly, clearly, and naturally, so you can feel calm, confident, and ready to speak with us. I'm Daisy from London.
And I am Peter from New York.
Today, we have a very special episode prepared for you. Usually, I am here guiding you through the intricacies of British pronunciation, but today the studio feels a little bit warmer and perhaps a little bit more international. I am absolutely delighted to welcome a dear friend and a true expert in the field of English language learning. Peter, welcome to London.
Thank you, Daisy. It is wonderful to be here. Although I must say the weather outside is exactly what I expected. It was sunny when I left New York, but as soon as the plane touched down at Heathrow, the gray clouds were waiting for me.
Well, we like to think the rain helps us focus on our studies. It keeps us indoors with a nice cup of tea and a good book. But Peter, you are not just here to discuss the weather. You have spent 20 years consulting for major international companies and helping students who feel stuck. You have seen learners who study for years but still cannot speak fluently.
That is correct, Daisy. It is the most common problem I see. I call it the Intermediate Plateau. You know enough grammar to pass a test, but when you walk into a coffee shop in London or a boardroom in Manhattan, you freeze. You feel like you need more words. You think, if I just memorize the entire dictionary, then I will be fluent.
Yes, that is a very dangerous trap. I see this with my students here in London every day. They come to me with lists of 500 difficult academic words. They want to learn words like obfuscate or pulchritude. But when I ask them to describe their weekend, they stumble. They can't find the rhythm.
Exactly. And that is why we are here today. We are going to reveal a secret that many native speakers do not even realize they're using. You do not need 20,000 words to speak with native speed. You actually only need about 3,000 words if you know how to use them correctly.
It sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it? Only 3,000 words to unlock the entire English language? But it is true. Linguists often refer to this as the core vocabulary. If you look at the Oxford 3000 list, it covers roughly 85% of general English text. But today, we're going to go deeper than just a list. We're going to teach you the mechanics of how to use these words to sound fast, fluid, and natural.
We're going to break this down into 3 parts. First, the power of high-frequency words. Second, the magic of collocations, or how words stick together. And third, the secret of pronunciation, how to shrink your sounds to increase your speed.
Shall we begin with the vocabulary itself? Peter, in your 20 years of teaching, why do students resist using simple words?
It's an ego issue, Daisy. Students feel that simple words make them sound unintelligent. They think that saying, I obtained the information, sounds smarter than saying, I got the information. But in reality, native speakers, even highly educated ones, prefer simplicity in spoken conversation. When I'm consulting in New York, the CEOs do not use complex poetic language. They use clear, direct, high-frequency words.
I agree completely. In fact, using simple words requires more skill because you must be flexible. Let's look at the word get. To a beginner, get simply means to receive, but to a master of the 3,000 core words, get is a chameleon. It changes based on the situation.
Right. If I say, I need to get to the office, it means arrive. If I say, I don't get it, it means understand. If I say, it's getting dark, it means becoming.
Precisely. And from a phonetic perspective, this is where students struggle. They see the word get and they want to pronounce it with a heavy, strong T sound. I get it. But in British English, and often in American English, that T sound changes or disappears to link the words together. In London, we might use a glottal T. We say, I get it. It happens in the back of the throat.
And in American English, we use what we call the flap T. It sounds like a soft D. I get it. It's fast. It's smooth. The reason we speak quickly is not because we are rushing. It's because we use these simple, flexible words that allow us to slide from one sound to the next.
This leads us to a very important concept, weak forms. This is my favorite topic. Students often think to speak English well, they must pronounce every single vowel perfectly, like a newsreader from the 1950s. But modern native speed relies on the schwa sound. Peter, how do you explain the schwa to your students?
The schwa is the sound of laziness. It's the sound. It's the most common sound in the English language. If you want to speak at native speed with your 3,000 words, you must stop stressing every word. For example, look at the word to, T-O. In the dictionary, it's to. But in a sentence like I want to go, we don't say to, we say to.
To go, yes. It sounds unrefined when you isolate it, doesn't it? But when you put it into a sentence, it creates rhythm. If you say, I want to go, you sound like a robot. But if you use the schwa, I wanna go, you sound fluid. This is what we mean by unlocking native speed. It's not about talking fast, it's about compressing the unimportant words so the important words can shine.
I want to pause here for a moment, Daisy, because I can feel some of our listeners getting anxious. I remember a student I had named Marco. He was an engineer from Brazil. Brilliant man. He knew technical vocabulary that I didn't even know. But he told me, Peter, when I go to lunch with my colleagues, I stay silent. I'm afraid I will make a mistake with the little words.
Oh, that breaks my heart. I've had similar students. A lovely woman named Yuki from Japan. She had been studying English for 10 years. She told me she felt heavy when she spoke English, like she was carrying a backpack full of grammar books.
To everyone listening right now, we understand. Learning English is incredibly difficult. It's an emotional journey, not just an academic one. You are brave for trying. You are brave for listening to this channel. The fact that you are here, listening to a conversation in English about English, proves that you are already succeeding. Do not let the fear of simple words stop you. The simple words are your friends. They are your safety net.
Beautifully said, Peter. The 3,000 words are not a limitation, they are a foundation. When you feel safe on your foundation, you can fly. Now, let's move to the second key to native speed, collocations, or as I like to call them, word chunks.
This is the secret sauce. A collocation is just a fancy way of saying words that naturally go together. Native speakers do not build sentences word by word. We build them chunk by chunk.
Exactly. If you try to translate from your native language word by word, you will always be slow. You will always be hesitating. But if you learn the chunk, the speed is automatic. For example, take the word decision. You don't do a decision. You don't create a decision.
You make a decision. That's a chunk. Make a decision. When you memorize that as a single unit, you don't have to think. Your brain retrieves make a decision as a single file.
Ahem. Yes, and let's look at the pronunciation of that chunk. We don't say make a decision. We link the K to the A. Make a decision. It flows like a river.
Another great example is with the word time. We spend time, we waste time, or we save time. We treat time like money. If you know these chunks, you can navigate almost any conversation. I often tell my business students to focus on the have, do, make, and get collocations. If you master the collocations for just those 4 verbs, you can express almost any complex idea.
Let's try an experiment. Peter, how would you explain a complex business situation using only simple collocations? Let's say, the company is currently experiencing a significant deficit in revenue due to unexpected market fluctuations.
Wow, that is quite a mouthful. Okay, let me translate that into native speed using the core 3,000 words. I would say, we are losing money because the market changed.
Look at that. Losing money, market changed. Simple, direct, powerful. And the pronunciation?
We're losing money. I contracted we are to we're. That saves time. Because becomes 'cause. We're losing money 'cause the market changed.
And that, dear listeners, is the key. Peter took a sentence that was 20 words long and complex and turned it into 10 words that hit the ear with impact. He used the core vocabulary. This is why we say you only need 3,000 words. You do not need fluctuations or deficit to communicate the problem.
Daisy, I noticed something interesting about the way you teach pronunciation. You focus heavily on the physical feeling of the words.
I do. English is a physical activity. It is like a sport or a dance. Your mouth has muscles, and those muscles have memory. If you want to speak at native speed, you must train your mouth to move between these core words without resistance. For example, the transition between consonant sounds.
Like in the phrase best friend.
Yes, that is a classic. If you say best friend and you pronounce the T perfectly, you have to stop the air. Best T, friend. It is choppy, it is slow.
In America, we just delete that T. We say best friend.
In London, we do the same. Best friend. This is called elision. It is when a sound disappears to make the speech smoother. This is not lazy English. This is efficient English. If you try to pronounce every letter, you are actually making it harder for the listener to understand the rhythm of your sentence.
That is a counterintuitive point, isn't it? Students think, if I am clear, I must be perfect. But being perfect with every letter actually creates noise that distracts from the meaning.
It is a hard habit to break. I had a student, Ibrahim, from Egypt. He had a beautiful, deep voice, but he articulated every single syllable. He sounded very angry even when he was happy. He would say, I am going to the shop. We had to work together for months to help him relax his jaw, to use contractions, to embrace the schwa. When he finally learned to say, I'm going to the shop, he smiled. He told me, Daisy, my face feels lighter.
That is a wonderful story. It really is about physical relaxation. You know, Daisy, traveling between New York and London, I noticed differences in vocabulary, of course, but the core 3,000 words, they're almost identical. The foundation of English is the same on both sides of the Atlantic.
That is very true. We might argue about elevator versus lift or schedule versus schedule, but the connective tissue of the language is shared. The prepositions, the auxiliary verbs, the pronouns, these are the engines of English.
Let's talk about those prepositions for a moment. This is a pain point for everyone. In, on, at.
Oh, the nightmare of prepositions.
It is a nightmare, but here's the trick to native speed. Stop translating them. You have to learn them as part of the chunk. You're not on the bus because you're physically on top of the roof. You're on the bus because that's the chunk.
Yes, and phonetically, these prepositions are almost always weak. We rarely stress them. We do not say, I am at the station. We say, I'm at the station. The at becomes a tiny, insignificant sound. Ut.
I'll see you at 5 o'clock.
Exactly. If you stress the at, the listener thinks you're correcting them. No, not in 5 o'clock, at 5 o'clock. Unless you're correcting someone, let the preposition disappear into the rhythm.
Daisy, we have covered vocabulary, chunks, and pronunciation, but there's one more element to unlocking native speed with limited words. It's the art of paraphrasing, or circumlocution.
A big word for a simple concept, explaining what you mean when you don't know the exact word.
Right. This is the ultimate survival skill. I see students stop speaking because they forget one specific noun. Let's say they forget the word for stapler. They freeze.
And the silence becomes awkward.
But a master of the 3,000 words does not freeze. They describe it. The thing you use to connect papers. The small metal machine for paper.
Or simply, that thing. We use thing and stuff constantly.
Can you pass me that thing? If you have the confidence to describe your idea using simple words, you will never be silent. You will always maintain your flow. And flow is what people perceive as fluency.
That is such a vital lesson. Fluency is not about knowing the word for stapler. Fluency is about keeping the conversation going. It's about connection.
Sorry, the jet lag is catching up with me just a little bit.
We'll get you some strong English tea very soon, Peter. We're nearing the end of our masterclass today. Let us summarize for our listeners.
To unlock native speed, you do not need a massive vocabulary. Number 1, master the high-frequency words, especially verbs like get, make, do, and have.
Number 2, learn words in chunks or collocations, not individually. This saves your brain processing time.
Number 3, use weak forms and linking. Crush the small words so the big words can stand out.
And number 4, be kind to yourself. Use the vocabulary you have to explain the vocabulary you don't.
Daisy, before we go, I want to say something to the person listening right now. Maybe you're driving your car, or washing dishes, or sitting on the train. Maybe you feel frustrated with your English today.
We want you to know that this journey is a marathon, not a sprint, but you do not have to run it alone.
When you engage with a community, when you listen to voices that support you, your brain relaxes, and a relaxed brain learns twice as fast as a stressed brain.
That's why we're here. We're not just teaching you words, we're building a safe space for you to practice.
So, here's what we need you to do. It's not just about clicking a button. It's about making a commitment to your own future.
Joining our community is the first step to consistent growth. When you subscribe to the Slow English channel, you're telling yourself, I'm a learner and I'm important. You're ensuring that you have a daily dose of clear, calm English to keep your ears tuned and your confidence high.
We read every comment. We want to know your stories. We want to know what chunks you found today. Your engagement helps us create better lessons for you. It helps us know where you're hurting so we can help you heal.
So please, if you found value in our conversation today, if you felt even 1% more confident, take a moment to support us.
Please like, comment, and subscribe to the Slow English channel.
I'm Daisy.
And I'm Peter.
We'll see you in the next episode. Speak slowly and speak soon. Bye-bye.